Pope Francis has made an historic trip to Morocco. The Catholic leader stressed the importance of interfaith dialogue. He says all faiths should live in harmony.
The Pope was speaking during the first papal trip by a Pope to the largely Muslim North African country.
I am also grateful that my visit offers a significant opportunity for advancing inter-religious dialogue and mutual understanding among the followers of our two religions, as we commemorate at a distance of 8 centuries the historic meeting between Saint Francis of Assisi and Sultan al-Malik al-Kamil.
The Moroccan king says learning is the only way to combat religious extremism.
What all terrorists have in common is not religion, but rather ignorance of religion. Today, religion should no longer be an alibi for ignorant people, for ignorance or for intolerance. That is because religion is light, religion is knowledge, religion is wisdom, and because religion is peace.
In recent months, migration has again risen to the fore of national political debates in a number of North African and European countries and the United States. Morocco has become a key departure point for African migrants trying to reach Europe after crackdowns that closed or limited routes elsewhere.
So, we know young professionals often emigrate, but it seems Africa's youngsters are not heading to Europe or the United States. In fact, they're moving within the continent. Research by the Afrobarometer suggests more than 80% of immigration involving African youngsters actually happens within the continent. We did some research of our own, asking South Africans where they would move to.
I heard Botswana is good because is their currency a bit better than ours? I think so. So I think Botswana is where I'd like to move to.
I'd rather stay here because like Amadloza, my ancestral, they're here, and then like Mangbonizinto, South Africa will develop soon, so I don't think there's need for me to move. I'll just stay here.
Migrating, I'm very hardcore South African. I love Joburg. I don't see myself going.
I'd go to Zimbabwe. I'd go to Zimbabwe because most of the time Zimbabwe doesn't have problems like other countries where there's wars and all of that. I'd go to Zimbabwe.
I think I would probably have to say it between being Nigeria or Egypt. I think because a lot of Nigerians are just more educated than most South Africans, if I can say that. And yeah, I would just like to explore that part of Africa.
All right, let's talk some arts and culture. And the self-proclaimed reluctant poet has published some new material. Marillier Lokorotswana has released a series called Shapes, Shades and Faces. ENCA's Ururile Ramafsi caught up with this fascinating artist.
Titled Shapes, Shades and Faces, author Marillier Lokorotswana takes you through a journey with a series of poems. They span his life, telling stories of politics, personal conversations and friendships found and lost.
There's a dynamic of where you feel when one feels like I'm out there now, but there's also the bit that says, thank you, I was able to put it out. So which is why the book is entitled Shapes, Shades and Faces, because it also gives, I think, a sense of a spectrum. It goes over various different motions, different periods, different places, different people. So it's not confined to one thing. It's not just there's a bit of political reflection, but there's also deeply personal stuff that's in there. That naturally I probably would not have spoken to anybody about it.
The book is edited by a friend and mentor, the late Korapetse Khositsile, known to most, including Lokorotswana, as Brawili. He bestowed the title of a poet to Lokorotswana, a responsibility he is reluctant to take on.
The late Professor Khositsile said I'm a poet. I would rather say I'm a reluctant poet, because I think taking from people like him, I associate it with, it has to be something big, something meaningful for you to be actually called a poet.
Lokorotswana says knowing and acknowledging local authors is one way we could preserve Pan-African literature.
We have lost connection with our own heritage, our own memory in this country. Different to other countries. You go to countries, I mean, like you go to Nigeria, for instance, so you talk to Nigerians, they practically know their writers. They like sing them. They know their names, they know books they've written. So you can't de-recognize the author. So there would need to be some bridge, but also by giving a face to the person, particularly in a South African context. It's extremely important, and especially for black and in particular African writers, because they've been blanked out of history, most of them. So why would we, in a liberated country, blank out the names of people who have made us?
Lekurutswane says he is working on another project, sharing his experiences and times in Tanzania. Like the late Masizi Kunene, some of his future work may be written in his home language. Udirile Ramafi, Johannesburg.
Time for a quick look at what's trending on the continent, and people in Nigeria are ordering pizza in London. And, believe it or not, they're having it delivered by British Airways. The Minister of Agriculture has expressed sadness, saying it will hurt Nigeria's farming sector. Several people joked about the issue on social media, with some inviting friends to come over for imported pizza. Kenya's government has suspended over 20 registered betting companies. That's due to unpaid taxes. People took to social media in solidarity with the government, saying gambling is destroying lives, especially when it comes to the youth. And finally, Eritreans are paying tribute to the rapper Nipsey Hussle. He was shot dead outside his store in Los Angeles over the weekend. Hussle often spoke about his Eritrean heritage. His birth name was Ermeus Ashogodum. And that was this week's edition of #Africa. Until next time, take care.